So he
I'll
takes his
erase.
cane, and I want you to recite the line with me that everyone that knows this movie knows. Are you ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. The ice is going to break.
The ice is going to break.
She kills me.
I don't know what line you pick from this movie.
It's the one that everyone knows.
Oh, I
You've
didn't
seen
know.
it 10 times. I've seen it twice.
I've seen it 10 times. Well, maybe you watched it twice and that's what went into your brain. The ice is going to break. Da-da. The ice is going to break.
Make no mistake, the ice is going to break.
Joe is happy.
Debbie, you're a flake. The ice is going to break.
The ice is gonna break.
Dead Zone, 1983, a supernatural thriller. A man awakens from a 5-year coma after a tragic accident to discover he has precognition, which means that he can see things and feel them before they happen, and the psychic ability to foresee future tragic events. We're filming in this beautiful, gorgeous courtroom in Elizabeth, New Jersey.
Hear, hear.
And it's City Hall because we're doing political films because, of course, there is somebody coming into office in January. So, Joe, you want to tell us something more about it?
Yeah, you know, here at the Real Watchlist Plus, we want to thank the City of Elizabeth and especially Mayor Christian BOLLWAGE for allowing us to use this beautiful city council chambers. There's such history behind the city and this building, and your support gave us the perfect backdrop, adding depth and authenticity to our production. We couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Mayor BOLLWAGE, for preserving such a gem and sharing it with us.
I want to talk about David Cronenberg because especially a person like me who loves horror, he's like one of the top people that, you know, has done movies that I really liked. And it broadened his audience because, as we talked about before, he was known for body horror and gore and crazy, like, you know, stuff on the screen that would make everybody wince and go, oh, you know. He did The Fly, the remake of The Fly, which made Goldblum a star, Goldblum, and it was like when his ear fell off and he was regurgitating on the donuts, oh my God. He did a really cool film, if people have never seen it, that made Jeremy Irons a star, Dead Ringers. And that's a true story about twin gynecologists in New York that actually were making these bizarro instruments as gynecologists for women, and they got caught. They were twins, and they were like crazy. And one had a big, you know, extroverted personality and all that, narcissistic. The other one was all shy and weird, and the brothers would switch. So the brother would make a date, you know, and then the other brother would sneak in with the girl. Really creepy,
Never seen it.
really good. And also Scanners, which is a
I've
famous
seen
one.
Scanners, yes.
Is great, where the guy's head blows off. Everybody remembers that. And his signature visuals, created or used in other films all the time, but this is the one that portrays psychic abilities. Scanners does a bit. He explored human contradiction and idiosyncrasies. That's what he was known for. Really, really good director. Very memorable director, like one of the top horror ones. So
this was Stephen King's breakout movie.
Yeah.
Taking the Dead Zone novel into a book. Matter of fact, he was working on Cujo at the same time. Around the same time.
Was the Dead Zone before Salem's Lot?
That I don't know.
Because Salem's Lot on TV, everybody freaked out over that thing. And everybody read that book. I remember Salem's Lot was like a book that even people that didn't read horror read.
Right.
That was like Rosemary's Baby. Everybody read that, you know?
And the fact that he always used Castle Rock in a lot of his novels, Cujo being one of them.
I didn't like Cujo because I
thought it
love
was
dogs,
dumb.
and I felt sorry for that dog. I didn't care if it ate the people.
But Stand By Me was another one that took place in Castle Rock.
Well,
That was a
people
good
love
movie.
that movie. It's okay.
Oh, we should do a review on that.
No,
Debbie
it's
had that look
a
on her
good film,
face.
but it's not one of my favorites. I like this better.
So the book and movie had some interesting differences. Matter of fact, if you take note, the movie was like an hour and 43 minutes, and the book was 400 pages. So they did a lot of slash and burn with this movie. They were very creative, I thought, writing this for the silver screen. As I mentioned earlier, the milk tank didn't exist. He got hit by drag racers with kids. there's more development of the love story with him and...
In the book?
Yeah, in the book.
Okay.
With him and his love interest. And when he's in a coma, the story continues while he's in a coma. Here in the movie, they went from him getting hit, and then all of a sudden he wakes up 5 years later.
Was it more about the girl and how she met her husband
and how things
and
happen.
had babies and
right.
all that?
And then you also got to learn more about Greg Stilson.
Oh,
so that
yeah,
storyline
because
develops.
look, at 57 minutes into the film, he comes in, but I thought that was clever.
I thought it was well done. I thought the fact that the book got a deeper perspective of Greg Stilson. Matter of fact, the ending was different too, in the sense that, you know, you see this transformation of Greg Stilson, and then 5 years passes, and he's trying to campaign and do things. And even in one scene that never made it to the movie was that he went to a door, you know, like to a house, to, you know, say hello, to campaign, and there was a dog there, and he was being pleasant to the dog because, you know, as a politician, you want to pet the dog. He realizes that no one's around. He hits the dog because the dog was.
God!
In the book too, they talk more about what the dead zone is, because I didn't catch on to that until I actually did my research afterwards.
He does say a line in it
One
that
line
explains it. Yeah.
But they talk more about the dead zone. They also go into Johnny Smith more, that he had like an accident, and then a tumor develops over time.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just hitting the milk truck. In the book, he actually was in a taxi. A taxi was taking him home. He was at a carnival. This whole carnival scene develops where he can predict where the spinning money wheel is going to land. He's with his girlfriend. They're all there, and he's winning money.
Oh, I don't like that. I like it more that he predicts gloom and doom. That makes it more sinister in a way. It makes it more tragic for him.
So
Let's do Christopher Walken.
His claim to fame, and I guess, would be The Deer Hunter?
It is. He won Best Supporting Actor. And the funny thing, just to go in The Deer Hunter slightly, that was one of the most harrowing scenes in the world at the end with Christopher Walken when they did the Russian roulette with the oh my God.
Yes.
And at the time, maybe we could watch it now because we're just like jaded by all the violence in movies, but back then, that freaked me out. And he's always good, and I mean, his voice is so iconic that people talk like him all the time. And he did a movie in Asbury Park, and I was like running around like a groupie to try to meet him, never did, but I got to see him, and I think he's really, really cool. And this film for him was really a tour de force performance. This was a great
this was
film
his.
for
He
him.
owned this whole film.
Yeah, I can't even see anybody else in this film.
No, but they had people in mind.
Yes, who are they? Who did they have in mind?
Now, I get this. I'm like, are you kidding me? Stephen
look at
King,
my notes.
he wanted Bill Murray. Are you kidding me? I mean, props to you, Stephen King. This was your novel, your baby.
Crazy things they think, you know.
Bill Murray?
Yeah.
I'm like, and then Cronenberg wanted Nicholas Campbell.
Yeah,
Nicholas Campbell was this Castle Rock killer. He was in the film. He was originally cast, he wanted to be cast for the role of Johnny Smith.
What do you mean, Nicholas Campbell, the actual serial killer, wanted to be in this movie?
No, he is in the movie. He did a movie with Cronenberg.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then when Cronenberg got the gig, he wanted him to play the lead role.
Right.
But De Laurentiis said, no, I want a star. I want a name. I need a person with a name.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Walken
it was
comes
really
in
good, and he gets the role of the serial killer.
But Bill Murray, that would have been horrible, you know?
There was an interesting review that I read that Christopher Walken, depending on what generation you're from, is looked upon differently. Because now he's a cultural pop icon.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're a millennial or a Gen Zer, you're looking at him in a more comedic way, or more like, you know, he always plays a villain. I mean, he played a villain in one of the Bond movies. I mean, but people in our generation.
Plus, what was he in Saturday Night Live? He was a character like the most interesting man in the world. He did something.
Forgive me if my hungry eyes feast on the banquet of your sumptuous décolletage.
And no matter how old he gets, he's still cool.
Right.
There's something really cool about him. Tom Skerritt, who's the sheriff in it, he had a persona like an outdoors type guy. I always kind of, he reminded me of Sam Elliott, except Sam Elliott's a lot cuter, you know. But his breakthrough, and people remember, was in MASH, the movie MASH, not the TV show. And he was Captain Dallas of the Nostromo in Alien. Yeah, and that was a big thing.
Martin Sheen, he plays the
Yes.
role of Greg Stilson. He plays this sinister politician, this two-faced politician that can convince the voters. He's almost like the man of the people. He wears a construction hat, and he's going to, talk for the people. Then you find out he's not so
He's going to be
genuine.
whatever anybody perceives him to be because he just wants to win.
Right.
And the people around him are slimy. And when you see him in scenes that he's in with his men and, and he's not recorded or with people, he's completely really for himself and a bad way that he would send America. So he's decided he's going to kill Stilson. And he's doing a rally at a place like this. I guess it was the city hall or something. And they have the balcony up above where nobody is. And I guess he doesn't have, he's in his campaign, but he has some protection, but not super secret service or anything.
Right.
So he goes up in the balcony and he has a rifle and he goes to load it. And right before he goes to load it and shoot, one of Stilson's henchmen takes him down and shoots him. And you think, oh God, all this, and he gets killed, and this jerk politician, which we hate. Martin Sheen always kind of bugged me anyway. Then he was a perfect choice for this thing. What happens is, to protect himself, he picks up a baby.
His girlfriend's baby.
His girlfriend's baby. Not Stilson's girlfriend.
No,
this is Christopher
Johnny
Walken's
Smith,
girlfriend,
right.
and holds it in front of him. And they're there
As a
from
human shield.
Time magazine or something, and they take a shot, and he's on the cover of all the newspapers and magazines. It destroys him. And that's worse than killing him.
Yeah.
Because his only aspirations were to be this top politician and be president.
Right.
And it wrecks his career.
Right.
And that's the political vein in this.
And it begs the question, if you can see the future, there's a scene where they talk about Hitler. And he asks his doctor, knowing what you know about Hitler, would you kill him? He said,
Yes, would you
I
change
kill him.
history by
Yeah.
doing what you had to do?
So
That's the
that sort
thought.
of set the
Right,
stage for
exactly.
him to do the same. And I love the end too, as you mentioned, when Stilson comes up and he grabs him like his dying breath. He grabs him and he can see the future, as you mentioned.
Right.
Newsweek with Stilson holding the baby up. And
Yep. It was great. It was great, and it's such
So
a
well done.
good clincher to that picture. It's really a good film. I mean, I can't do
don't be
that because
wishy-washy.
I'm ruining
All right,
what I do.
I'm gonna put a sourpuss on that comment on that last scene.
Yes.
What I didn't like is that mobster goon Stilson had as his
Yeah.
protector. All of a sudden he has morals. Like he was a goon. He's like the guy who beat you down. He's the guy that's threatening on him. He was the bad man. Like Stilson needed someone to be taken down.
Yeah.
He physically would take you down. All of a sudden Stilson holds the baby up, and the mob guy kills Johnny Smith, and all of a sudden he sees Stilson with the baby. He has morals. Like, oh, I'm not going to be with that guy. And when Stilson comes up, get that photographer. Get that photographer. No, I'm not.
Well, he probably had resentment
He's a
for him all
goon.
along.
He's not going to go against his boss.
I mean, you'd work for your boss. You might despise your boss,
Please,
but
this
he's going to
guy's-
take you with him.
This guy's
And-
breaking thumbnails and chopping off limbs,
Well,
and he's
I
going to
know.
all of a
Maybe
sudden
like
get a
babies.
conscience.
Maybe he wanted babies. Maybe if he held up a person, he wouldn't be anything.
please,
Maybe if he
keep
held
your
up
score
a
where it
dog or a
is.
possum, he would shoot it.
Greg Stilson's scene where he's holding the baby, shielding him from getting shot.
Yeah.
And the photographer is taking pictures. Who is the photographer and what is the connection?
You mean the name of the actor that's the photographer? That's what I say.
Gab. No, Ramon Estevez, Martin Sheen's
Oh,
son.
yes, they got the kid in the film. That's right, I did read that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
His kid came in, yeah. He
and-
always get his sons and everything.
He does. And audience members, here's a little further question for you. Answer it, comment below, we'll give you a shout out. You know now that Martin Sheen and his son Ramon appeared together in The Dead Zone, but it wasn't the only time. Name one of the other films or TV shows where Ramon and his father appeared together.
The Crawling Eye from 1958, black and white movie that scared the bejesus out of me when I was a kid. It's about a series of decapitations on a Swiss mountain, and they appear to be connected with a mysterious radioactive cloud that contains a giant eyeball with tentacles. It sounds ridiculous, but it's a great film. Nightmare Alley from 1947, starring my mother's heartthrob of all time, Tyrone Power, RKO's biggest star. The rise and fall of Stanton Carlyle, a mentalist whose lies and deceit proved to be his utter downfall. Carrie from 1976. Carrie White, a shy, friendless teenage girl who was sheltered by her fanatically religious, domineering mother. She ends up releasing her deadly telekinetic powers after being humiliated by her classmates at the senior prom. The Fury, 1978. A former CIA agent uses the talents of a young psychic to help retrieve his telekinetic son from a shadowy, secret government agency who want to use the kid as a secret weapon. Scared the hell out of me when I saw it in movies. And my husband snuck into the dark house, which was my parents' giant house, and hid and had all the lights off. And when I came in, he scared me because I thought he was dead. The Green Mile, 1999, a great cast. A death row guard learns that a gentle giant of a man in his prison on death row possesses a mysterious psychic gift. It stars Tom Hanks and a fill-out stellar cast with a breakout performance by Sam Rockwell as a nutty, maniacal killer. And that's my watch list, Joe. My summation, it's a brilliant thriller with a superb performance by Christopher Walken, one of the best Stephen Kings there is. It's intense, it's haunting, terribly sad. The novel itself was good. I read it.
You did? I never read it.
I did read it 1,000 years ago, but I didn't remember it was 400 pages, but I read more
insane.
then and watched movies less. It's somewhat overlooked by readers who largely consider books like it to be the best Stephen King book. They do. They think it's the best Stephen King book. Whereas Salem's Lot and this book were beautifully written.
That to me means a lot. I think it was also important for its time because you're also talking about a time period where we're talking about gloom and doom, the nuclear bomb. If you remember, as you mentioned, it's Greg Stilson.
Yeah.
The premonition was he's going to hit the button to send the missiles flying.
That's it, that
Hallelujah,
button.
as he says to his cabinet members. You had the TV show, if you remember, The Day After. Do you remember that, where they talked about?
Yes, what had Jason Robards in that?
I
think so. I don't know. People can contradict me, but I think it. Well, yeah, I think. I don't know.
I was so scared as a kid. I'm watching that. It seemed like everyone was watching it.
Yeah,
And it scared the
we
crap
were all
out of me. The
scared.
scenes where, bomb hits and someone's getting married and they turn into like skeletons. It carries that same theme. You're talking about Ronald Reagan and the Star Wars defense program. So all of this is going on around you, and the film also pulls that
And movies
discussion.
reflect society.
Yeah. So you're pulling in the canon.
Unfortunately. And of course, you got to see it for Christopher Walken. Number one. Got to see it. His best performance ever.
So I think a movie that can have you scream, can have you yell, can have you scared, can have you pulled into it is a great movie. I think the simplicity was great. But, I had to give it a couple of dings because of the unbelievability of
and I
Christopher Walken as a teacher,
I changed my
hitting a
score
milk
just
truck.
because I really like it, and I'm not looking at it as a critic, just what I really liked. I had to ramp it up. I didn't want to be mean to it.
So, yay or nay, is it a classic?
I say so.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I'll
would.
agree with you on that one.
It is.
Deb, I'm done.
Yeah.
I want to get back to my time capsule cocktail Cinesip. Do you know why? The ice is going to melt. The ice is going to melt. The ice is going to melt. So where the hell are we going next, Deb? I'm going to touch you.
Joe, I never know where we're going until we go there.